As someone who liked Transformers Animated and Prime a lot, but watched them many years after the toy line had disappeared from shelves, I'd basically accepted that I probably wasn't going to be able to get a proper toy of everyone's favourite space bridge technician / wrecker, so I was pleased to see Bulkhead show up in Legacy's first wave. And yes, I know everyone has already done their reviews of this toy, but it's my channel and you can't stop me. Straight away, I think this figure looks great. I know some people aren't a fan of the G1 inspired blocky redesign, but honestly I really like it. I think they blended elements from the Prime design, the back wheels, the wrecking ball hand, and most importantly the head, with more mainline elements like having the whole front end of his alt mode be his chest rather well. He even has a teeny tiny little nose, something not allowed in Prime's noseless Cybertronian reality. And I understand if this doesn't feel like Bulkhead to you, he is, after all, more of a square boy than a round lad, but I quite like him, and for this video that's all that really matters. Also, the detail on his torso cab is really nice, with enough parts picked out in different paint to make it really pop. He poses quite well considering the whole torso is just a cube thing too. I particularly like how his elbows can fold more than 90 degrees, which is perfect for some brawler poses, and in general he's just very stable and well balanced. He comes with a few accessories, an energon-infused minigun, which just means it's a minigun made of clear blue plastic, but thankfully it has some paint apps on it to save it from looking too out of place. A mace hand, which actually hinges open to reveal a handle so it can be wielded in either hand, and the tarp section of his alt mode, which can be left in place after transformation or removed and used as a shield. Just like Bulkhead himself, all of the accessories have an array of ports and posts, so not only do you get a lot of choices in how to display him with these accessories, both sensible and very silly, but also it means he's compatible with a lot of stuff from previous lines. Including Minicom ports on the tarp, which seems to have made a lot of people happy, although personally I don't have any Minicons or any nostalgia for Minicons, so I'll just settle for being happy that everyone else is happy. Bulkhead is a Voyager class toy, so he's quite big, but not as tall as some other Voyagers. Actually, I realised that a lot of the people watching this channel had this whole Transformers thing foisted upon them, so I should probably quickly explain how the size class thing works. Long-time Transformers fans can go get a drink or something. So there's multiple price points for Transformers. In the main line it's mostly Core, Deluxe, Voyager and Leader. There are other classes too, but those are the main ones. The classes do broadly correspond to height, although that's not always the case, and other Transformers lines often have their own classes. Bulkhead being a Voyager means that he's bigger than a standard Deluxe and puts him at a comparable height to... what would be an apt comparison for my audience? An Imperial Knight. His transformation is fun enough. It's not super complex, but it's also more complex than you assume considering his torso is the entire front end of his alt mode. Also, watch out for the various things unclipping and slotting in around his midsection. Some can be pretty tight to the point that it fetched blood on a friend of mine when he first transformed his. I think my favourite bit of the whole thing is the legs opening up and the fuel tanks coming out on ball joints before the legs close up again. I don't know why, but there's just something really satisfying about that. At the end, you're left with a nifty military truck that is apparently based on a Raba H-18 truck, but forgive me if that's not correct, my knowledge of Hungarian military vehicles isn't exactly perfect. Shocking, I know. The truck mode is lovely though, a satisfying little green brick of a thing. My only real criticisms are that the panel that hides where the head used to be can be knocked out of place pretty easily, and you need some kind of tool to relocate it without having to untransform the whole front end. And I would have loved if there was a little panel that filled up this bit here, maybe have it folding out from the inside of the hollow bit of the fuel tank, just to cover up this bit where you can see the leg is at an angle inside. It just looks a bit messy. Generally I'm not one for third-party upgrade kits, and this might be an issue that only I care about, but if someone was to fix that, then I probably would buy that kit. He also looks a bit scrappy without the canopy on, and I know that that's kind of obvious, it's supposed to be there, so taking it off is going to make it look worse. But removing it does allow you to store his weapons on the bed, before you cover them up again and keeping them all neatly hidden. Don't get me wrong, you can still strap them to the outside if you want, but it's nice to have the option to actually do the whole robots in disguise thing for a change. Plus, if you don't put the weapons in, I'm sure you'll find something else to put in there. Oh, and yes, although doing so means his cab doesn't slot quite as neatly into place, you can do the thing. So I like Legacy Bulkhead quite a lot, and it's nice to have a version of him that looks at home with the other modern generation toys, an itch I didn't know I needed to scratch until I got him. And now I've said nice things about it, Hasbro, please release a Prime Universe Legacy Ratchet. I just want a tiny Jeffrey Combs to live in my house. Is that too much to ask for?